Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Prez and Teddy covers is my co-host, and we got an excellent lineup set for you all. Andy Lang, one of the best bettors I've ever met in my life, on first. He's got a prop bet on Joel Embiid, a prop bet on Coby White, and one on Bubba Jenkins. He's all over the map, and that's what we love. Carmine Bianco after that for his third appearance this week. Carm and I are going to take apart every single NHL series, all 8, tell you exactly how to bet them, and Art DiCesare at the end of the show. Teddy covers your big game breakdown. What is it going to be?
We're going to talk T-Wolves and Suns NBA Game 1 playoff action for the weekend. And obviously, with the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs starting this weekend, lots of playoff talk on today's show. But of course, we'll have a little MLB. We'll do what we do, Lawrence. This is your Sports Central for bettors. Each and every weekday live, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. here on the left coast. Let's get into it.
Okay, Andy Lang, one of the best. How are you, my friend?
Oh, man, doing great. I got the NHL playoffs starting, NBA playoffs. We got PFL tonight. We got a Formula One race. It is a jam-packed weekend. A lot of profits to be had. So looking forward to a big weekend.
Let me guess, Max Verstappen.
As long as it doesn't rain, easily, yes, easily. It rained last night for the sprint race qualifying, so we do have to keep our eye on the weather. But the scary part for the Formula One drivers is he's one of the best drivers in the rain on circuit, so it doesn't even really even the field that much. If anything, it gives him even a little bit more. But yeah, Chinese Grand Prix, they haven't raced here in 5 years, should be an awesome race.
Andy, I tell you, the Formula One, I mean, from Schumacher, then they had a little window where anyone could win, to Hamilton, now to Verstappen. I mean, talk about parity. Okay, so let's get into some NBA. Joel Embiid, you've got a prop bet for us. What is it?
We're going to take a look at Joel Embiid's under 46.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So we'll start with last game against Miami. He only had 43 in this category, and that was with a flurry of stats in the fourth quarter. He was on pace to go under for most of the game, almost got there at the end, but still in the end comes in under. He has played the Knicks in 2024, did that in January, only had 43 points, rebounds, and assists, and that was when he was a little bit more healthy. The Knicks, they are the fourth best team defending centers this season, so this is not an easy matchup. And Teddy, I'd love your thoughts on this. I thought eye test, he just didn't look even remotely close to 100% healthy. He was slow. It was one of those where it kind of hurt to watch him. He's clearly not 100%. And this is a New York Knicks team that is physical. They have bodies to throw at him down low. I think this is a really physical matchup for Embiid. And if you're the Knicks, I mean, you're banging away on Embiid and you're trying to soften him up. So I think his stats are going to be pretty hard to come by. Books have this line a little bit too high. I'm going to take under 46.5.
So you talked about that last meeting, or the meeting that Embiid has faced the Knicks this season, where he got to 40. And that was a complete blowout.
Teddy, we're having mic issues. We can't hear you at all, my friend. Andy, I don't know Teddy's follow-up question, so let's assume that he... oh, there we go. Come on back, Theodore.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the problem was right there. That being said, I X'd out of any windows that might have been doing anything funny, and let's try it again. You talked about Embiid having only 43 PRA when he faced the Knicks last time, the only matchup he's had against the Knicks this season. That game was a complete blowout. Embiid wasn't on the floor for much of the fourth quarter of that contest. The Philly scored 92 points in that game, and Embiid still got to 43. Do you think that's a reasonable comp for this, man? I mean, are the Sixers getting blown out here? Embiid not going to be on the floor in the fourth quarter?
No, it's by far the weakest argument that I have for this, but I did have to bring up that he did play the Knicks. I mean, he was healthy in that one, and honestly, the strongest part of the argument, at least to me, Teddy, is just his health. He just does not look right. I thought he was lucky to get to 43 in the last game. So yeah, the comp back to the game in January. Yeah, it was a blowout. He was much more healthy than he is right now. It's probably not a great argument to put in the write-up, but I did have to bring it up because he did go under in that game. But the combination of the health and the Knicks being physical, I think this screams under on his PRA.
There we go. We got that all sorted out. Let's turn our attention to Coby White. Another PRA prop bet, this time over 30.5. Fill us in.
Yeah, I thought it said a lot in their biggest game of the year that against Atlanta, he played 43 minutes, 21 shot attempts, 42 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. And this is a team that is going to have to rely on him and DeMar DeRozan and probably Vucevic to do a lot of the scoring. Caruso is banged up. We don't know how productive he's going to be. I would assume he's going to play tonight. The report came out that the swelling came down in his foot, but you're still dealing with that. And then, Miami's defense for the season are pretty good. These are not two high-paced teams, but Miami looks to be starting Tyler Hero and Patty Mills in the backcourt. That is not scaring me at all on defense. So I think he's going to get there just by sheer volume. He shot the ball beautifully, 15 of 21 against Atlanta. Now, again, Atlanta not great on defense, as we know. But this number seems a little bit low. The Bulls are depending on him. And I really, really liked how he performed in a huge game. Didn't look like the spot was too big for him. So I think this might be a little bit low. So I'll look to play Coby White over this PRA number for the first few games. If he keeps going over, the books will probably adjust and it gets a little higher, and then we'll think about laying off.
So Coby White's coming off, I believe, it's a career high. I know it's a season high for him, but I think it was a career high performance against a team that didn't play a lick of defense. And now, coming off his career high against a team that doesn't play any D, now he's got to go on the road and play a team that does play defense. Is this really a guy that tonight we want to bet over the total, coming off that level of performance against this level of defense?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know if this is this. I mean, is Tyler Hero and Patty Mills, is that, really reflective of how good Miami has been this year? They're going to be without Jimmy Butler. So I think it's not the same defensive team that we're going to see. The come down off of a career game is a little bit of a concern for me. Absolutely. But going from one, I mean, it's a playoff. It was a playoff game, play-in game. And then coming into the other one, I just loved his confidence. And I love the 21 shot attempts. I don't expect him to go 15 of 21 again. But, if he can shoot 50, 55% on getting 21 shot attempts, I like him to get those. And then the 9 rebounds and 6 assists was just what a great way to pad that PRA category, grabbing 15 rebounds and assists. So, the letdown is a little bit more of a concern for me, but I think the books have it a little bit low, and I love what I saw from him last game. We'll keep riding him.
Andy, let's go to Bubba Jenkins over Kai Kamaka. Did I say that correctly?
Nailed it. Perfect.
Wow. Okay. Fill us in.
Okay, so this is a striker versus wrestler. Bubba Jenkins being the wrestler, Kai Kamaka being the striker, but he's not that intimidating of a striker. This was supposed to be a big signing for the PFL, and he's been okay. He's won fights, but they haven't been that exciting. He hasn't had the big knockouts or put on the huge, performances that I think they expected. And in his last fight, it's pretty lackluster, a split decision win against a really subpar fighter. Bubba Jenkins lost his last fight I believe it was in August or so, maybe a little bit later, September. But he lost to the eventual champion of the entire season, and he got tired in the second round, and he was humiliated. This is a guy that prides himself on wrestling and cardio, and he was very open. He was like, I wasn't ready for that match, thought I was going to win. That'll never happen again. So he comes into this season in amazing shape. He looks great. His cardio is normally one of his strong suits. He's going to get back to that. Kai Kamaka is not a good wrestler, and Bubba's going to have a huge advantage. And the other thing, Prez, this is a fade the baby theory. Kai Kamaka, this is a fade the baby theory. Big
Did
fade
the
the
last
baby
one
theory.
Did that work last time?
Yeah. Did it work?
Yes, it did. We've cashed a couple of these in a row, and actually, Kamaka and his family are hanging out with another guy that lost his last fight of Fade the Baby Theory, Jeremy Kennedy. So this is just babies all over the place, and I have photos to show it. Prez, you're gonna love this. So this is Kamaka getting ready for fight week. He's got his babies there in the stroller and the family. Now can we see Bubba Jenkins? What Bubba Jenkins looks like? Arriving to fight with. This is Bubba Jenkins training this week. Who looks more ready? There's Bubba Jenkins. That's the guy I want to bet on right there. He looks like he's ready to go. And then I think we got a really good shot of Kamaka, what he's been training this week. I believe he's been out at amusement parks, pushing the baby around the stroller. It's just not that good of a matchup for Kamaka. And again, fade the baby. The two main events ago, Chris Curtis, he was a fade the baby theory. He lost a really close decision, but this just keeps winning and winning and winning. So I'm going to keep riding it. You're only getting minus 148 on Bubba Jenkins. So stylistically, great matchup. Fade the baby theory. This is an official client play.
So, Andy, what I'm seeing here is, on one hand, you have Fade the Baby. Where does Fade the Menage a Trois come in?
I don't know why you'd fade that. To me, that shows his. To me, he's working on his cardio. His cardio issues in the last fight. So let's get the cardio up. That's the guy I want to be betting on.
I got a great Menage a Trois story, but I can't discuss it on air. Are you?
I bet Bubba Jenkins does too now.
We have a question from the chat.
Yes. Andy Lang, Vegas _Dez wants to know Derozen, over or under in points. Do you have any thoughts?
I don't like Derozen's defensive matchup. I like what the Bulls have on the perimeter. I just think when Patty Mills and Tyler Hero are going to be trying to defend the perimeter, it's a huge advantage for them. So I would lean a little bit more towards the perimeter of them. That being said, Derozen's going to get his shots. This guy's not shy of shooting. He had 21 shot attempts in the last game as well. So certainly the points for the Bulls are going to have to come from only a few guys. They don't have a lot of scorers on this team, but I just slightly lean Coby White over DeRozan for points.
There we go. Andy Lang, 17-3 your last 7 days. Is that across all sports?
Yeah, that's all sports. We're up 70 units this year. We're having an amazing run. We've got a PFL pack that's up. We've got client plays that are up for that. Should be a good weekend. We've got a lazy line in the NBA that is up. We've just been cruising right along. It's been an amazing 2024.
And you've got a promo, Andy3. Get $30 off of a 3-day pass for Andy. That promo code is Andy3. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Good luck, everyone.
Teddy covers. Let's get straight into what did bettors learn.
Sure. I want to talk about a secret, I'll call it a hidden rule, and there are no rules, of course, for NBA playoff betting. And it's so freaking easy. All right? This is something that I don't know that I've ever publicly really talked about a lot before. It's been in the back of my mind. We've been in Vegas doing the NBA playoffs for 26 years. This stuff develops. And one of the things, the theory that I've developed, plain and simple. You want your money on the team that's going to win the series. That's the rule. Put your money on the team that's going to win the series. Doesn't matter what game 1, game 2, game 3, game 6, game 7. Teams that are going to win the series, team that wins series, cover point spreads. Plain and simple. Not that you can't ever bet the team you don't think is going to win. Absolutely. There are going to be spots to consider. And in fact, I'm going to have a play in game 1 on a team that I don't think is going to win their series. So it's not one of these rules that's hard and fast. You can't play any teams that you don't. But in general, look for spots to put your money on the team that's going to win, especially off a loss. And generally, right from game 1, obviously 8 game 1s in the NBA playoffs this weekend. The simplest handicap, who's going to win? Then you take it game by game. One quick note, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back. I want to make a point for this one. Yesterday, we got a YouTube Shorts question about the Red Sox Guardians total. We talked about it on air. We said open as high at 9.5, 9 juice to the over, minus 120 was widely available. When we got the question, the total was down to 8.5 before the first pitch. They asked, did you like the under? Well, yeah, I did like the under. 9.5 maybe at 9. But at 8.5, you got to let those ones become passes. And you know where it landed. Right on 9. It's the most common MLB total to land on. We talk about in football, every half point matters. Well, baseball totals, do not forget, every half run matters, especially more than any other place around that key number of 9 for MLB totals. Huge difference between 9.5, 9, and 8.5 when it comes to betting overs or unders in MLB action. So that's a couple of things I learned last night. Prez, what do you think? Should we talk some NHL playoffs?
Yeah, well, before that, Teddy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Totally reasonable for you to say you have no idea, but can you find a series upset for us in the NBA?
Can I find a series upset for you in the NBA? Well, being that 5 of the series are priced near pick'em, so Minnesota is an underdog right now. I think Minnesota is live against Phoenix. There's one.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Okay, let's bring Carmine Bianco in. And Carmine, dude, I can't thank you enough, man. It's like, Gianni, totally on me. Gianni mentioned that he couldn't make the show. I forgot and scheduled him regardless. You can roll your eyes all you want, Teddy. You know I'm lying. You know it's not on me.
Just making the point. Hey,
it's not on me. I'm just owning it on air. Yeah,
I know. That's why.
It was not my fault at all. But on air, I'm owning it.
That's what makes it funnier.
Yeah. So totally my fault. But then I said, Carm, with like 7 minutes before the show, can you come on? He's like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. So, brother, we're gonna do all 8 series, quick hitters. Teddy, you host this segment. Let's rock and roll.
The Hurricanes minus 420. The Islanders plus 350. Who do we like in this series?
Carm, throw to who you want to talk to.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. The Canes had a great season, Lawrence. So we know it, and so the Islanders. But this is a one-sided affair. I have to believe you can't lay that price. I think a better option is you can take the Canes to win the spread on this one. Canes minus 1.5 games, minus 155, and if they win the series in 6 games or less, you cash that ticket. I'd rather lay 155 than a minus 3. It's as high as minus 3. I see minus 340, minus 400 at different books. This is not going 7 games, 6 or less, and Canes win it.
Yeah, so I'm with Carm on this, and I'll jump right to the New York Rangers because for me, although I hate doing parlays, these money line series parlays do work, and I would parlay Carolina with the New York Rangers here. I can't even take it at minus 1.5 at minus 150. I think each of these games are going to be really close between the New York Islanders and Carolina, and I'm going to look to bet them under all the way through. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring series.
Last year, if you took all the dogs in the first round, you made a fortune in the NHL playoffs. However, Carmine and Lawrence, they take the favorite between the Islanders and the Hurricanes. Let's talk about the Maple Leaf and the Bruins. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, this is basically a pick'em series. The Boston Bruins minus 125, Maple Leafs plus 105. What do we want to do with Toronto and Boston? Prez, let's start with you first this time.
Well, listen, I'm a homer completely, so I'm going to be cheering like crazy for Toronto, but I actually think Toronto wins this series. It's one of those situations where Boston won all 4 games this year against Toronto. Boston has won the last 3 playoff series against Toronto, and I just think it's time. And I think at plus 105, we're getting a little bit of value there. What the most interesting part about the series is Boston's going to want to play slow, heavy, low-scoring hockey, and Toronto's going to want to open it up. It'll ultimately come down to the goaltending, but I think Toronto will get it done in Game 7. Carm?
Yeah. First of all, apologies. I thought we were talking about the Carolina game off the top. That's the way I wrote them up. So I was talking about Carolina as
did.
opposed to the
We
the
did.
New York
We just
Rangers.
talked to
Okay, just
Carolina
wanted to
and
make
the
sure.
Islanders.
All right.
Carm, just so you understand, I'm going through this series in rotation
Yeah.
order. So I'm just starting
Yeah,
to
no
look at the
problem.
Wager Talk live
Teddy,
on screen.
He's just
Teddy,
starting.
you know, my
Just
thoughts on
as they're listed.
my thoughts on this is, listen, I'm tough on the Leafs all the time. Living in Toronto, and all my friends are Leaf fans. I'm not. But this is one I filmed with Kelly yesterday. We talked about it, and I took the Leafs on the series price. And I'm going to go through this really quick. You look at coaching firmly, Boston has the advantage. Montgomery, much better than Sheldon Keefe. You look at defense, Boston, always a tough defensive team year in and year out. The Leafs, not so much. Goaltending, there used to be a huge gulf between these two. You look at Swayman and Allmark, and then you look at Joseph Wall and Samsonov, and you put the advantage on Boston. But that advantage is so much shorter now. Samsonov, since coming back from the minors where he didn't play, he was just 8 days with a goaltending coach. He's 18-4-2 with a 269 goals against average and a 905 save percentage. And that's on a Leafs team that doesn't play well defensively. And this guy stood on his head, for lack of a better word. Scoring, offense, the Leafs have much better scoring throughout they're deep down the middle. I think the longer the series goes, I think Toronto enforces their will on the Bruins and they win this series.
What do you guys think about these NHL playoff series? Please let us know in the comments. If we have time, we'll get to some of the YouTube Shorts questions and see if we can ask them here on air. But we really appreciate all the comments. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the Wager Talk YouTube channel, today is the optimal day to do so. What do we have? Close to 150,000 of you who have subscribed to Wager Talk TV already. We appreciate all the likes. We appreciate all the follows very much. Gentlemen, quick hitters. Let me rephrase that. Quick hitters, because we were supposed to be doing quick hitters. We went 6 minutes in the first two games. We've got 6 series to go, and we've got, 8 minutes to do it. So let's be quick. The Lightning and the Panthers. We're seeing minus 190 for the favorite here, plus 170 take back for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's been pretty good for a long time. Are you guys surprised that they're underdogs in this range here? Let's start with Carm.
I am surprised, Teddy. I'm going to split this into 2-unit bets. I'm going to take Tampa Bay plus 150 to win the series. I'm also going to take Tampa Bay plus 1.5 games, minus 145. I think this series goes 7 games. And if it does, I can't lose. I can only win.
Teddy, every year we see a huge upset, and this is the one. I'm with Carm. I like Tampa Bay here at plus 170. I think we see the upset right here in this series.
Yeah. And of course, Tampa plus 170 now, Carm.
Yep.
If you want to take a play, Lawrence mentioned this series earlier where he liked New York in a parlay with the Carolina Hurricanes. Rangers minus 450, plus 350, plus 360 for the Caps. The Caps have any chance in this series, or the Rangers going to dominate? Lawrence?
I like the Rangers minus 2.5, plus 100. Washington Capitals shouldn't be here. Their goal differential is horrific. I would be surprised if they win one game. At the most, they win one game, minus 2.5, plus money for the Rangers. Carm?
This is an easy one for me. I agree with Lawrence. It doesn't go more than 5 games. Give me Shesterkin, give me the Rangers, much better down the middle. Minus 2.5 games. This is a 4-game sweep or 5 at the max.
Now, we've gone through the 4 series in the Eastern Conference. We haven't talked about totals in any of them. Is there one series where you're interested in betting the totals in particular in the Eastern Conference, either over or under? Carm, let's start with you.
I would go with the Tampa Bay, the over in the first game. I think we see some scoring in the first game before the teams settle down. That's the only one where I like the over. Last year, game 1s, 5-2-1 to the under.
Yeah, I'm looking to bet
Lawrence,
the
any thoughts on
unders.
totals?
He said looking to bet the over in the Tampa Bay, Florida first game.
I'm asking you, Lawrence. Carm answered the question, and I was throwing.
No worries. I think the unders are going to happen in Carolina and the New York Islanders, and the overs are going to happen in the Tampa Bay, Florida game.
Wager Talk Today. We're giving you NHL previews, 8 series, quick hitter fashion. The Prez, Carmine Bianco, 2 of the best in the NHL. Let's take a look at the West right now. The Predators and the Canucks. Vancouver, minus 155, minus 160. Take back on Nashville, plus 135, plus 140. Is this a live dog, or is this a spot where Vancouver takes care of business? Let's start with you, Lawrence.
I think this is where Vancouver takes care of business here. I would not bet it minus anything. I think this could be a long series. I just don't think Nashville is deep enough. Their second, third, and fourth line, their third line defense. If Sora stands on his head, they might get it done, but I doubt it. I think Vancouver is loaded with talent up and down the ice. Minus 155 seems low to me. I like Vancouver.
Carm?
Yeah, I agree there. I think the great story that has been the Vancouver Canucks this season is not going to end in the first round. I like them to win the series, and I would take them on the handicap as well, too, minus 1.5 games. I don't think this series goes more than 6 games.
The Winnipeg Jets do not exactly have a great postseason history in short or long-term NHL action. And maybe the odds are reflecting that. There's only one series out of the 8 where the team that's on the road in game 1 is favored. And that would be the Colorado Avalanche, minus 130, minus 140 against the Winnipeg Jets. They're home dogs in the series. They're home dogs in game 1. What do you think of the Jets and the Avalanche? Carmine?
I'm gonna take the Avs in this one. I like the Avs. A ton of talent, and they were upset last year in the first round by the Seattle Kraken. I think they learned their lesson. It's been a great season for the Jets, but I think the Avs are the better team.
Yeah, so Carm and I are going to disagree here. I think the Avs have two better players. The Jets do not have Nate McKinnon, nor do they have Cale Makar. But the Avalanche have massive goaltending issues. Georgiev's a nightmare right now. They can't stop anybody. I think the Jets are the deepest team in hockey. I think their third line and fourth line on forwards are the best third and fourth line in the league. They have the number 1 goaltender in hockey. Not only do I think the Winnipeg Jets get it done, I think the Winnipeg Jets are live to win the cup. I'm a huge fan of this team. I think the Winnipeg Jets win here, and I take them at plus. There's a 120 out there.
Yeah. We're talking about a plus price in the first round. Prez says they're live to make a deep playoff run. The Winnipeg Jets, a team that you've got your eyes on right now. 2 series left to talk about in the Western Conference. Let's start with the Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. Edmonton, basically a 2-1 favorite here, minus 205, minus 210 in some spots, plus 170 the take back on the LA Kings. Are the Kings live at all in this one, or is this another situation where we expect the favorite to control the series? Lawrence, let's start with you.
This one's going 5. I would take Edmonton minus 2.5 for some huge plus money. This Edmonton Oilers team has been locked in since their coach was fired back after the first month. They're the best team in hockey, excluding the first month. They're hungry, they're ready, and the Kings is a bad matchup for the Kings. The Kings are a heavy, slow team. Edmonton's the fastest team in the league. This is going to be a blowout series.
Carm?
Yeah, he's right about the coach. 46, 18, and 5 under Chris Knobloch, 1.41 points per game. That's enough to finish with 115 points, which would have won the President's Trophy this season. They make short work of the LA Kings.
Edmonton looks like for a shorter favorite, we got 2 $4 favorites. You guys seem to like the $2 favorite every bit as much as the 2 teams that are priced much, much higher. Let's talk about the final series. The Vegas Golden Knights, the defending champs, and both of you guys, I've heard you say it's a bad matchup for them against Dallas. They wanted to play Vancouver. They didn't get Vancouver. They got Dallas instead because they lost their finale. Well, the betting markets say the Knights are live here. Dallas only minus 130, plus 110 take back, maybe plus 115 in some spots. What do you do with the Knights and the Stars? Let's start with you, Carm.
Yeah, I actually think that Teddy, that the Knights wanted to play the Dallas Stars instead of playing the Edmonton Oilers, so they kind of
yes.
choked last night against the Anaheim Ducks. With that said, they beat them 3 games and pretty handily during the regular season. I think if you look at the analytic numbers on this one, it's going to be a great series. Going to go at least 6 games, maybe 7. I think the Stanley Cup champions make it through the first round and upset the Dallas Stars. So I'll take the plus money.
Teddy, this one is really tough from my perspective. I would lean on Dallas here, but this is going 7. These are 2 teams that match up really well against each other, and I would also be looking to bet a lot of unders, game by game. But man, I got nothing definitive on this one at all. This will be the series
before I
of
let
the
you
first
guys
round.
go, okay, yeah, but before we let Carmine go, we do want to ask about the Western Conference total. We talked about the Eastern Conference totals. In the Western Conference, are there any series that stand out to you? I'm looking to bet overs in this series. I'm looking to bet unders in this series. Tell our audience if one series stands out to you in that regard. Let's start with you, Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm looking to bet unders in the Dallas-Vegas series, even though Dallas has played to the over, especially at home all year. I think both of these teams lock each other down. I think this will be one of the lower scoring series out there, and I'm looking to bet the overs in the Edmonton and Kings series. Even though the Kings are a stone-cold under team, they will have no choice but to find some goals against this high-flying Edmonton Oilers.
Carmine?
Yeah, I'm looking at a completely different series. I'm looking at the Vancouver-Nashville series, and I think it's going to be a lower scoring series. I think Nashville's way of trying to get back by Vancouver is playing like they did during that 18-game point streak where they went 16-0-2 and played some phenomenal defense along the way. So I'm going to look at unders in that series, and the opener is under 5.5 even money, I believe, right now.
Very good. Carmine Bianco, Lawrence Presman, breaking down the NHL playoffs. I thought you guys did a great job. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. Please give us a comment. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. You can take advantage of the Teddy and Prez playoff package right now. Just look at the special page at WagerTalk.com. You can get my NBA playoffs and Lawrence's NHL playoffs together at a bargain price. I think it's better than 25% off buying them separately. Carmine, what do you have going for the clients both tonight and throughout the course of the NHL postseason?
Okay, so Teddy, thanks for giving me the opportunity. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, because I forgot to mention it on Puck Time today, Don Buster has a 5% series, NHL series price up. You can find that over on his page at WagerTalk. Andrew and I are doing a BOGO as well, too. All NHL plays through the NHL playoffs, of course. Futures bets, prop bets, everything in a BOGO package. You'll find it on his page or mine. And my NHL series plays and NHL weekend plays are going up right after this show. So you'll get those right away if you subscribe to that package.
Carmine Bianco, thanks for joining us, my brother. No notice. That was awesome and a lot of fun. Still lots of show to go. Teddy covers Big Game Breakdown. Art DiCesare as well. Teddy, let's go straight to you.
Big game breakdown time. And I want to know, how much do we take away from regular season meetings when it comes to the NBA postseason? Even if the last regular season meeting was played on the last day of the season. Of course, we're talking about the Phoenix Suns and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's talk game 1 action right now. Mostly -1.5 for Minnesota, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screens. There are some -2s out there, total sitting at 214. And the Suns dominated the 3 meetings with the T-Wolves in the regular season. You know, they boasted the best net rating in the NBA against Minnesota this season. They were plus 15.6 in the 3 meetings. That's twice as high as the next highest team against Minnesota. All right. You know, only 7 teams in the league a positive net rating against the T-Wolves, and Phoenix, obviously, a pretty good advantage in that regular season. That being said, all right, the switch has flipped. Whatever we saw last week was last week. This week is this week. And when you talk about a scenario like this, there's urgency for Minnesota. Boy, you read these quotes out of this team. That is a hungry, hungry squad. And of course, they're as healthy as they've been. You know, Towns is going, Gobert is going, many of the key role players, and that's so key when we talk about this series. Minnesota's role players, the Jaden McDaniels, the Nickel Alexander Walker, the Kyle Andersons of the world, the guys who can get out and defend the perimeter. They have not done a great job of that against Phoenix this season, but I do not see that as a fundamental mismatch in favor of the Suns. I see that as something that the T-Wolves are capable of correcting and playing better. And of course, Minnesota's size inside is going to be a problem for Phoenix in this series. Nurkic, not a guy who I think matches up particularly well with the Gobert-Towns combo. Here's a quote from Mike Conley, the T-Wolves veteran guard, a guy who's as hungry as it can get when it comes to chasing a title. Quote, "My urgency is at an all-time high. I don't think there's anybody on either team that wants it more. I told the guys selfishly, do it for me, man. Help me out. Meet me at my level right now because I don't got long. Y'all got forever, it feels like. But I reminded them the last time I made it deep in the playoffs was 12 years ago, so it's not a given. You got to be taking advantage of the moments you get. This is a heck of a team we have and a heck of an opportunity we don't want to waste." The urgency is there in game one for Minnesota. T-Wolves -1.5 against the Suns. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, thanks, man. Guys, just to remind you all, and huge shout out to a bunch of you guys who have grabbed that promotion we've been pushing all week. Teddy's NBA playoffs, my NHL playoffs. You get to save $122, both $179 each. You can find it at Teddy's page or at my page. It's a combo package. Teddy's NBA, my NHL. That is the package to buy, period, if you want to enjoy making some money during both playoffs. Art DiCesare joining us. Art, how's the show gone so far?
You know me, I love the NHL stuff. So to me, the NHL stuff was great. That's my favorite.
Let's start there. Yeah, Teddy?
Yeah, let me ask Art specifically. Any of the opinions that Lawrence and or Carmine gave out that you strongly disagree with? You're like, no, I like the other side. Because we've just gone through all 8 series. I want to see if you have a contrasting opinion on any of them.
No, I was really in line with a lot of what the guys said. I was really interested to see, obviously from a Vegas standpoint, obviously the Knights are so popular here. I was very curious to see what they thought of that. And they pretty much lined up where I did. I know Prez kind of leaned Dallas, but he could understand and see the Knights making the move through. And I think that series price is very telling. And I agree with Carm. I think they ducked that last game and tried to get to Dallas because they've owned Dallas. And I think at +110, I think that's the move. I love getting plus money on the Knights. They're just a tougher team.
And they're deeper. They're definitely deeper than Dallas. Dallas can only really roll out 2 strong lines. Art, my upset is Tampa Bay. Are you getting where's the upset coming betting wise and your mind wise in this opening series?
You know, the 2 series that I've seen the most action, you got to remember 2 of the Western Conference series open early this morning for us, so we haven't seen a lot yet on the Edmonton or the Vegas series. You know, we opened Vancouver -150, now -155. We'll probably get to -160 at some point because there are some -160s out there. So Vancouver's seeing a lot of love early in the market. And I don't agree with this one, and this is a slight upset. Boston has seen some love. You know, we opened Boston -120. At 125, I think we even get to 130 on Boston, and I think Toronto's the play. I don't like the way Boston ended the season. Boston did not end the season well. Yeah,
and Art, Boston tanked to play this Leaf team, just like what Vegas did. And I think you're right. Me, you, and Carm all agree Toronto is the play here. I think the Winnipeg Jets provide the best value to win it all. What have you seen any big bets on who's going to hoist the cup?
You know, I mean, obviously we always are going to get night money, and we're still taking night money at 10-1, which is interesting because, you know, You could have gotten them at some point at 14 or 16 to 1. You know, the heavy favorites like Carolina and Edmonton, they've really, people have shied off them because their number is not there. But I think you hit on it, Prez. I think when you get to Winnipeg at an 18 or 20 to 1, I mean, you're not going to look any lower like, you know, the Islanders or the Predators or the Kings. Winnipeg is right there with like a Vancouver and a Toronto, and you're getting the best price on Winnipeg with the best goalie. So I think you're pretty sound with the Winnipeg.
Not only the best goalie, Art, but the best 4 lines in hockey by far. So, and a great coach. Teddy?
So, Art, I wanted to ask you before we move on to NBA and MLB, I want to ask you one more NHL question. My experience, and again, I don't follow it as closely as you guys nearly, but my experience is if you take every $2 dog in these first round series in the NHL, you make money every year. Every year, it seems like there's upsets in the first round. Last year was all dogs in the first round, but that was not the exception to the rule. Islanders plus 340. I've got the Lightning plus 170. I got the Caps plus 360. I got the Kings plus 180. Which of those 4 is going to be the right side? Or is it going to be more than one? Or are they all 4 of the dogs dead?
No, I think the boys hit on it. I think it's obviously Tampa Bay. I mean, that's the team that has the playoff pedigree, and maybe they don't make a deep run like they've always made and make a conference final or a cup final, but they can easily win a first-round series. The 2 other Eastern Conference series are just impossible to either lay the big number or take the big number. Yeah. You got to play with, you know, series prices or games over or under prices or exact series prices in that range, and I don't think the Kings have a shot against Edmonton. Edmonton has just played too well. So really, Tampa Bay is the one where you're going to look where you can get the upset value.
We got just a few minutes left with Arthur DiCesare at ArtDice21 on Twitter. He's an excellent follow. He is a risk manager at the risk management or risk management supervisor. Whatever you are, you're in the risk room at the Westgate Superbook in Las Vegas every single day. You know what's going on behind the counter in a way that our audience can only imagine. So, before we get to NBA, anything stand out on MLB card today? Who's who? You know, let's tease NBA and talk MLB for just a minute because we haven't done any MLB on today's show yet. Who are the wise guys betting in overnight action, sides, totals, and anything stand out to you on today's baseball card?
Nothing really standing out to me, but a couple of dogs. The Sharps have been taking overnight and through the morning. St. Louis at home, a little bit of love for them. You know, got the Brewers in town, so that's one. And then the Nationals, who've been playing pretty good ball, basically 500 ball. Obviously, they went to L.A. and played really well. They are at home, getting dog money as well, fading Verlander, I believe, in his first start. So that looks to be a move. And then a favorite seeing a lot of money. Joe Ryan is somebody people love to bet on. Minnesota at home against Detroit. Joe Ryan's been about a 10 or 15 cent move from the opener. Joe Ryan is a guy, not only for Cy Young that they like to bet, but they like to bet him when he makes his start every 4th, 5th, or 6th day.
Joe Ryan attracting a lot of attention for Minnesota. The wise guys betting him start in, start out, says Art DiCesare. Art, let's talk a little NBA playoffs. And I want to ask you this. All right, it feels like everything, every move that we've seen is injury-related in one form or another. Jimmy Butler goes out. You know, Zion Williamson goes out. We have a ton of injuries already in the NBA postseason. Have you seen any line moves, series moves, total moves that are not seemingly based on injury info? Any actual opinions about?
No, you know, that's a great question. It is all injury stuff. It just feels like it's always that way. And, you know, you look at the game tonight, the total, 218.5, now 210.5. I mean, an 8-point move to the under is insane. The favorite is flipped. Sacramento was favored. New Orleans was favored. That's gone back and forth. Pretty good two-way action there. The public loves Miami. Despite being Butler out, they're going to take Miami. Lay 1.5, lay 2. It's now 1.5. Total's gone down from 208 to 206.5. So the under money always comes in on these playoff games. And this is an injury-related one, but this series completely flipped. We opened the Bucks pretty low. You know, minus 135, minus 140. knowing that people would lay it with Milwaukee. We just figured they would. And now Indiana's the favorite, minus 120. That's been an incredible way to see that it flipped. And then all the people who laid the money with the Bucks have not come back over the top and taken the plus money. So it shows you that we were kind of, ahead of it a little bit, we feel like, with that. And we've seen a lot of Laker money. And I just think that's Laker fans. I don't think it's opinion. It's not a sharp opinion. But people have wanted to come in and bet the Lakers at plus money. We're always buried to the Lakers in all aspects.
In terms of, are you seeing the game one money for the Lakers? You seeing the series price for the Lakers? You winning the title, Lakers to win the title, or all three?
Yeah, all three. It always is, especially the series, Teddy. I mean, you got guys coming in, laying in a dime, 5 dimes. We had a guy close to 10 dimes. I think he put 9 dimes on the Lakers series price. And once again, that's a public player coming in with probably just an opinion that the number was too high, or, hey, I'm a Lakers fan, and you just see that. And a lot of the times with these big series, like in the NHL or the NBA, people feel, let me take a little shot with the sweet plus money. So that's interesting. And listen, I know that there hasn't been much talk in our little segment about this, but the series that's going to attract a lot of love and a lot of attention is that Sixers and Knicks series. It's a pick'em series. It's a great series. Some offshore places have this, the Knicks favored. I've seen, we started the Sixers slightly favored, minus 115. So that's been a very back and forth, opinionated series either way. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where the sharps line up on that and where the public line up on that, because we haven't really gotten much yet.
You talked about how the Miami Heat are a clear public side tonight. Are there any other clear public sides for the weekend that stand out to you? The Joes all like this one side or not so much?
Yeah, I mean, let me just, bring up our spreads and, just give you kind of what has moved and, what would be more public. I mean, it feels like Cleveland's pretty public because there's just not a lot of people who know anything about Orlando. And then, the Knicks number has moved too. So the Knicks are pretty public early. So I would say those two in the Eastern Conference. And I heard you talk about it, Teddy. I'm with you on Minnesota. I think Minnesota getting them a plus 105 or a plus 110 on a series price is the way to go. I like nothing about that Phoenix team. And I think the home court and the young energy of Minnesota. And to me, they have the best player in the series in Ant-Man. I know Durant's wonderful and I know Booker's wonderful, but I think Ant-Man's the best player in the series.
Art DiCesare joining us. Art, I got one last quick question, and we started the show with F1. Let's end it with F1. Do you take a lot of bets on F1, especially given the fact that the same guy wins every race? And if you do take a lot of bets in F1, how are people just trying to take a shot at like Alonso or something? Because, man, this seems like an impossible sport to bet right now, given how dominant Verstappen is.
Well, Verstappen is the most dominant athlete on the planet. He just is. Just look at it. I know he's not going to get the pub that all these other quote-unquote athletes get, but Verstappen dominates his sport more than anyone. And it's what you said, Prez. It's people just hoping, like he did a couple of races ago, that the car blows up, that something happens, that he doesn't make it, and they're just taking shots. There's no way to lay $4, $5, $6, $8 prices with Verstappen. It's impossible. People love taking shots with the dogs.
Arthur DiCesare, great information each and every Friday right here on WagerTalk TV. WagerTalk Today on WagerTalk TV. And this is, if you watch one show a week, this is the show to watch. You're getting really good info from the other side of the counter. At ArtDice21 on Twitter. Arthur, what else do you have to promote down at the Westgate Superbook?
This is a fun time of year, guys. Obviously, baseball in full swing. NBA and NHL playoffs, what we've been just waiting for these last 4 to 6 weeks. This is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff offered in all NBA and NHL. Everything that do with series stuff. We'll have plenty of player props. Every game, if you're in the book, whether that's NHL or NBA, will be available in-game, not only through the app, but OTC, over the counter. So make sure you kind of keep that in mind. And, I promoted it last week. Kentucky Derby futures are still out there. So come in, bet your Derby futures early, all that type of stuff. And listen, as always, if you ever need any help, just come ask and we'll help. We'll pop out and give you a hand.
Awesome. What a show, Teddy. What a week. Have fun. Guys, remember to take advantage of Teddy and my promo package, his NBA playoffs, my NHL playoffs. It's the best way to approach the playoffs, and you are going to win a lot of money. My brother, take us home.
Enjoy the games. Good luck. Thanks for watching Wager Talk today. We'll do it again next week. Same time, same channel. 90 on the left coast, noon for you back east. Have a great weekend. Hope you win a lot of money.